Hello and welcome to RC Bits and Pieces. Just doing I don't know if it's going to be a little update or a quick update, because I haven't done one on my losi 5T for a while. Because obviously we haven't had a great start of the year, obviously, because of what's going on and what's going on around the world. But anyway, just a little bit of an update on it. What's been going on when I have been racing, what's been successful, and stuff I'm trying out, or one thing I'm trying out at the moment. It probably, trying to give people a bit of an option of just, because there's other things out there. Obviously Zenoa engines are the engines to have. They're very good engines, but there are other engines about what do the same job. I'm getting some really good success out of them. Especially this engine here is a roving engine. Now, it was a 29cc, and I had a few issues. I was going to do a piston ring change, and turning out I needed a new bore and everything like that, because of the coating on the bore worn out. They've got a thin coating on the bore itself, but I increased it, so now it's had the opportunity to up the cc. So I've gone from a 29cc to a 30.5cc. What actually I've noticed is a big change, and there's a lot more power. It's not quite as like, Zenoa engines, but it's a lot better. I'm just trying it out, see what it's like and everything like that. I had an issue on the bank holiday weekend where, for some reason, the engine was messing about, so I had to put the spare engine in. I think I've cured it. Basically, it was the isolator block. This little block here, this black bit here, this is a Zenoa one. The other one, it's been since it's a 29cc, so it's done really well. And it was out of shape, so I've replaced that, and it does seem to not have, doesn't seem to be messing about anymore. Like I say, it's still try and error, seeing what it's like. I'm having some really good results on my championship for racing in the UK. This exhaust is a very good exhaust. It works well. When I looked at the description of engines from a 20, I think it's 23 or 26, I can't remember which one it starts with, all the way up to a 32. It's actually for the 32. But like I say, the description with all the other engines, I think it's from a 23cc to a 30.5, and it does work well. I think it does. I've had, because at our circuit we have to run a silence pipe, where that pipe there, despite it's kind of a little bit similar in certain areas, I put a sting on it, but it was still too loud. But I've got plans for that. I might actually convert it and do something like that with it, but we have to see. The MCD wheels and tyres, these are really good, and I mean really good tyres. They're lighter, a lot lighter. Some of them, I think this one here is okay. I've got some now. I've done a 2 to 3 meetings, and I'm starting to lose the pins on the actual, these bits here, losing some of the pins, but it's wear and tear. End of the day, nothing lasts forever. There's a lot of power going into those tyres and all that. When they grip really well, and they're good in the wet as well. But in the wet, in a lot of situations, sometimes most of the time, you get a bit more grip. They're better grip in the wet. These are than these. These are rubbish in the wet. These, and they're a lot heavier as well. But they are in the dry. They work absolutely fine. They're very, very good in the dry. In the wet, rubbish. They're not very good at all in the wet. I know the tread's a bit low on these, you can see that. But yeah, they're not the best in the wet. There's no grip at all. These grip a lot better because they're more spiky. Still not great, but better than those. So they will work quite well on the Auto Astro Turf grass, or the fake grass. The other thing I'm trying out as well, now they've got a bit of play in them. I'm a little bit, but I'm going to try other things with these. These aluminium, I don't know what you call them, shock bottoms, I would say. They've got a bit of play in them. They are wearing, and they've only done about 2 rounds of racing. So they're not cheap either. Depends on where you are in the country or in the world. It's got to be, the prices are going to vary. But the whole point I tried them is because I was having the plastic ones, or helicoiled the plastic ones as well, but I was still having them pulling out the threads. And when you're racing, you do get failures sometimes, but try to avoid the failures as much as possible, because more times when you're bashing, it's not an issue, but when you're racing, you need the vehicle to be reliable as much as possible. You're going to get failures anyway in the race. You're going to have one weekend where it's going to be a rubbish weekend. I've had it, but then you get other weekends where you're going to have success. Because like I said, this is actually a losi 5T, but there's a lot of things I'm running now because of price wise and all that, and I haven't had any issues. These lower arms are 30° north, same as the drive shafts, no issues at the moment. Same sort of thing there's an identical fit, everything's identical. This arm here is a 30° north, no issues at all. This one's a normal, my standard losi one, but it was my fault what I did on the original losi. I went the wrong way on that and done the thread. These are still standard losses, but I've got some replacement ones if I need to, if they break, but these have been good. This is the second throttle servo. What's a losi throttle servo? The standard throttle servo, you're getting the losi, absolutely fine, does the job pretty good. I think the original one done quite. This is not original one for it, but it's still a lossy one. The original one kind of started to play up, but you expect that when it's good 2 or 3, 4 years old. Sometimes you get servos what last for years, other times they don't. Anything electrical fails in the end. The Hi-Tech's D845 is a brilliant servo, especially for the steering. You can use another Hi-Tech one for the throttle, and I can't remember what one it is now, but slightly down on the torque, I think, because it doesn't need to be a high torque servo. Everything else, all the shocks are standard, apart from the springs. I rated the springs on the shocks because the rear springs were too soft. Despite I had it tensioned quite a bit, and it was still too soft, so I've upped the tension on the springs. They're DDM springs, and they seem to be working absolutely fine. Oh, and I snapped a for the very first time, never done it in my entire life. I've been doing RCing. I snapped an anti-roll bar. This is a replacement, another, I presume it's a losi, replacement one. Unbelievable how I don't know if because I crashed the vehicle, I don't know if it snapped then or what, I don't, no idea. That I've replaced. This is a 30° north, replaced the cover for the battery box, because the other one I tried a few things and it wasn't not the way to go, so I've gone back to standard. As you can see, there's a lot of plastic parts still on the truck, and there's things I've gone with and I've gone back, considering the centre diff was a metal one, but I had that fail. I don't know if I've still got the failed one. No, I haven't. Might be in here actually. Yes, there it is. The end fell off. The end snapped off. So, I mean, these are okay, but since that's snapped and since I've used the original plastic ones, like this one, this is a new one, despite that, because that's metal anyway, these I think are a lot better. When I was starting out and that, people recommended to change the centre diff to metal, but honest to truth, personally, you don't really need to. You don't. I can't see the object of it. It's not. I mean, each to their own. If you want to go alley and everything like that, by all means. But a lot of the time, you don't really need to. But there's a lot of things going on. They've got a 990 carb I put on here. What is an excellent carb. Very, very good carb. I'm running now an Audi clutch, what is a very, very good clutch. It's basically put it in the truck, forget about it, self-adjusting and everything like that. They're not cheap, but they work 100% well, and they're a good Audi clutch. If you Google Audi, page should come up and there'll be various places what sell Audi clutches. King, Cobra sell Audi clutches, but there are other clutches about. They haven't got any in stock at the moment, but RC models, well, I get a lot of parts from. This is where this came from. Works exactly the same as an Audi clutch. It works perfectly fine. The only thing is one of the adjusting, because you have to adjust it with these grub screws here. One of the kind of cap things where the grub screw pushes against broke. Now you can get the springs and you can get replacement shoes, but for some reason you can't get the actual those little metal caps. For some reason you can't buy them. What's a shame, because that clutch actually works exactly like the Audi one, and it's perfect, absolutely perfect. This engine here is a 32, the one I rebuilt this year, and it's not a Zenoa engine. It's a I think it's just a mixture of parts of 32s from RC models. I think I built that engine for about £60, just over 60 quid. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable engine. It's for 60 odd quid. It's you can't argue with that. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I've just replaced the carburetor because the other one is worn out. They tend to wear out here. Now I know on the 990 you can get a conversion one what's got bearings in there, or a lot better. Never used them myself, but they're a little bit more expensive than the standard carb, but they do apparently work well. But I don't go and change my carbs every year, so the price of this, and you can probably get about, maybe depending on how much you use it, if you're bashing and you're not bashing that much, you should get a good fair few years out of it. Racing wise, 2 to maybe 3 seasons, maybe more, but it's just because the shaft wears on the alley, because you've got alley and brass, and there's a tiny, you get a tiny bit of movement, and it's only needs a little bit of leakage of air going in there when you're trying to set the carb up, and the carb will not run, or the engine won't run properly. You can do as much as you can on there, and I never had any luck. And the only way I've had better luck is a brand new carburetor. You put it on there, good as gold, don't have an issue at all on the when you put a new carb on it. As you probably might see, I've got a ball end on the throttle linkage here. Now if you go back onto here, you can see I've got a quick release. Another thing I'm trying out, and it never done it in the past, and I thought it's available and it looks good, and because I'm racing, you just want everything easy. This is why I've got a spare engine. This is for the kill switch, what's actually for some reason packed up today, but it is old. It's been there since I've had the truck, so it's done really well, so I haven't got a problem with that at all. But I'm trying to get like everything, like this engine. Basically what you do if you have a problem with the engine, you take the other one out and literally put the other engine straight in. You just want a quick, because when you're racing you don't kind of have time to mess around and all that to change things over. You want quick swap over. Fine for bashing. If you're bashing, you just come home and alright, it's spoiled your day. But if you can replace it quick, even if you're bashing, it's a good idea, because it's just like I'll go home and sort that other engine out. You've got more time. You just don't need to mess around. You just, if you do things properly and a bit at a time, you will get there. Everything's good. Right, I'm going to draw this video to a close. I hope this has helped. If you like, comment underneath if you've got any questions and all that. Feel free to comment below. Give us a thumbs up, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. It's a recently new channel. I kicked off in 2019. I had plans in 2020, but obviously that didn't go right at all, as everyone should know. I'm hoping, I'm trying to find other content and that, but at the moment, when you've got a small channel at the moment, it's quite difficult. I just hope next year it's going to be a better year and I can do a bit more on the channel. The plans are to do more on the channel next year, because there'll be more things hopefully going on, and I'm just going to keep on putting stuff up, and hopefully it will grow. Thank you very much.